And it's Sunday, not the usual Monday. And welcome to the LB0FI YouTube channel. I'm Morton, LB0 Fox India. And I've changed the time of my streams from Mondays to Sundays, partly. Oh, okay. I have my stream going on and some tab here. Hang on. There we go. Heard myself with a little bit of a delay here. So I hope that's fixed now. So I've changed my time from Monday to Sunday, uh, mostly because of two reasons. First of all, it's a better time for me to sit down and stream for an hour, and secondly, it is a better time on a Sunday to reach people from around the world than it is on a Monday evening European time. So that's kind of why I did it. And I see we have several of the regulars in the stream, and we got a new one here. Ham Radio Dude, Whiskey Nine Fox Fox Fox. Welcome to the stream, Sean. We have William in the stream as usual. We have Walt, um, the king of tape measure antennas. I don't know if any of you guys have seen his latest video. We have LB4FH Seattle here. So and we have amateur radio on the air and the stream. At least those are the ones who have commented. And sorry to say this, Sean, but you shouldn't watch YouTube and drive probably. But that's partly the theme of today's show. We're gonna talk about operating a mobile. And I actually got a little bit of a presentation made, mostly because I need to remember my points here. Because I got a new job with a long commute. It takes me about an hour to get there, which kind of reduces the time I have to operate at home. And I work long hours in the new job, so that kind of reduces my time at home. So I figured, why not combine the two and see if I can operate a little bit portable on my way either to or from work if I just go out half an hour earlier or come back half an hour later. And that's kind of my goal here. And I only want to use the gear I have. Some of the gear I haven't really tried that much, and I want to be able to do both 2 meters, 70 centimeters, and HF. And there is a little bit of a bonus though, because let's see if I can get the arrow to show up on stream here. Not sure if I can do that or not. Probably cannot. But there is, if you see the E6 motorway here, that's my commute, and you see there's quite a bit of POTA parks around here. So that's actually a good thing. That helps me a little bit to actually perhaps make some activations. The sad thing is though, almost none of these are drivable POTA sites, but I'll be near them, so that'll help. And we have let's see here. We have John Newell here, Victor Echo 5, Juliet Hotel November. Welcome, John. It looks like I got a bigger amount of North Americans in my chat and watching here, and that was one of my reasons for switching the time from Monday evening Norwegian time till Sunday, because this is either morning or early afternoon depending on where you are in North America. So that'll help. And LB4FH says I have a drive to soda nearby. Do I? I'm kind of curious because I thought I knew most of the soda sites near me. So please do elaborate on that. And yeah, we got the Americans in the chat there, Walt. So, what kind of gear am I gonna use for my project here? As I said, uh, I'm gonna use equipment that I have. And you're perfectly correct. The Trivandstorm in Oslo, it is nearby, but it is another hour in the wrong direction. So it'll take me about 2 hours from home to get there. And speaking about driving, this is my daily driver. It's an electric vehicle, illustrated by the fact that I'm parked near a charging station there. Uh, it's a relatively compact vehicle. If you haven't seen one of those before, um, so mounting options for radios are kind of sparse in it. So I do have one radio mounted in the car. I struggle to find a way on how to mount an HF radio there, but that'll probably come after a while. So let's go on to the 2 meter 70 centimeter part of it. And for those of you who have followed my radio for a while, I got a couple of videos on this radio, the Lyxen UV998. And it looks like I'm pretty much the only guy on YouTube that have videos on this radio. Uh, it is a 25-watt Chinese mobile radio. Nothing more, nothing less. It works pretty well. It's a mess to program. It's semi chirp programmable. You need a plugin, but it's not really easy either way. And you have the official software, which is by no means good. And you have to program each of the two VFOs separately. So it's a hassle to program, and I had to factory reset it a while ago, and I'm not there yet though. That I'm back on actually having it programmed. I've only used it for one repeater, and that's the local repeater here, and for simplex. So I will need to program this again to have the nearby repeaters on my commute end. So that'll at least let me do some radio while driving if there's anyone around on the repeaters. And I also have a Diamond MR77 mag mount antenna for 2 meters and 70. Nothing great, but it does the job, and it's pretty easy. 45 auto comments. Doesn't Josh over at Ham Radio Crash Course have an HF radio in his Leaf? Yes, he does, and and he's showed a lot on how to mount it. The thing is here, though, at the moment, I only want to use gear that I have and don't really want to buy any expensive mounts. I've been looking around for mounts for an HF radio, and the common denominator on those mounts are that they're more costly than I have money available to spend on it right now. I might need to do some bonding after a while, though, and I might need to do something about the power. At the moment, I'm using the cigarette lighter outlet, which is fine for a 25-watt radio or something. It wouldn't do the job for a 100-watt radio. So, but we'll look at that later on when I get to the HF side of things. So that's my current 2 meter 70 centimeter setup, and I guess I'm gonna keep that because the radio is just so compact and easy to have mounted in the vehicle at all times. For HF, I'm gonna use my 817, and you could probably argue that I could use that for 2 meters as well. But it's kind of flimsy to use while driving. A lot of small buttons and small controls, and it's deeper than the Lyxen radio, so it doesn't fit into my dash the way the Lyxen radio does. So what I guess I'll be doing, I won't be doing any HF while driving. So I'm probably going to just put it up on the dash while operating, and then put it back down. And considering it's a 5-watt radio, I could also power this from the cigarette outlet with no issues at all. And I got one of these, not the exact one, but I got one of these tri-mag mounts with an SO239, which I can just clunk on the top of my car when needed and mount an antenna to it. So that's basically the HF setup. Not speaking about the antennas, and I got a couple of options there. Some I have used and some I haven't used earlier. I was lucky enough to borrow a little Tar Heel a while ago, and I've tried it out a little bit, and I'm probably going to try it out more. And for those who don't know what kind of antenna this is, it is a coil-loaded antenna with a motorized coil here. So you got a control unit in the car where you can tune it up for the different bands. And it's supposed to be resonant from everywhere from 80 to 6, as far as I know. The issue is, though, without having bonded my car, I don't have enough of a ground plane for anything lower than 40. So 40 is 40 is kind of the bottom band for my car. It is relatively easy to operate, but it takes a while. You gotta kind of tune it for every band, and it's a high Q antenna. As you probably understand, I'm no big fan of the antenna. For the little I've tried it, it's basically too much hassle in the operating style that I have. If I had it permanently mounted to the vehicle, it'd probably be a better option. But for taking it down or putting it up for every time I'm going to operate, it's kind of hard. I got a question here from LB4FH about bonding my car. It's basically connecting all the parts of the body and the chassis together with copper wire to make sure that you have a larger ground plane, so the entire car becomes a ground plane, and not just the upper part of your body as it would when you mount it on the car. William mentions the Yaesu ADAS antenna, and that's an option, though. And it's supposed to be a really good antenna with the 857 and the 891, as far as I think. There, you can just hit the tune button, and it tunes up for the right band. So that kind of helps a little bit, but that would require me to buy a new antenna. And another question about bonding: aren't the metal connections between them good enough already? And actually, I haven't operated that much mobile, but my experiences when I get down to 40 meters is that I got a lot of RFI, which probably means that the ground plane and the car is not large enough. So I would guess no, they aren't good enough already. Although they probably should be. So this is one of the antennas that I'm gonna try out for my mobile operations. The second options, as Walt suggested earlier here, mag mount and a collection of mini ham sticks, and that is a good option. The ham sticks are relatively small. They're easy to tune. They're single band antennas, but you can just swap them out, and that won't be a problem because I'm going to set this up every time I'm operating portable. Say if I'm at a charging station, and actually RF noise aren't as bad as you'd think at a charging station, so that could be an option. But yeah, ham sticks are one of my options and one of the antenna options I'm going to try out. And I got one ham stick at the moment. I got a 20 meter Ampro ham stick, so I'm going to try that out. 20 is probably the best band most times of the day, just to get a quick QSOs anyway. The third option is one of my favorite portable antennas, but I'm not sure it'd make a good mobile antenna. The MFJ 1979. It's a 16-foot, 5 meter whip, which kind of adds to the height of the car quite a bit. It's easy to tune between the different bands by just lengthening and shortening it. And the pro here is that you get a full quarter wave on the desired band, and that's should be good. I'm not sure how much hassle it would be though to mount it on top of the car, but I surely want to try it and perhaps try it somewhere near salt water, which should be a good option. As you probably know, I'm a fan of full size resonant antennas, and this will be a full size resonant antenna for every band 20 through 6, which should be good. But not sure though. Not sure though if it would perform on a car or just be too tall. There is quite a bit of movement on the bottom part of it when it's fully extended. So we'll see. I see Walt loves his slide winder DX coil, and that's certainly an option when you're parked. And even though it's a coil loaded antenna, it'll still be much less hassle and less wires to connect than the little Tar Heel. So that is an option, definitely. I also have a buddy stick. I'm no big fan of the buddy stick though. I think it's a hassle to tune it, and you can try to get a perfect tune while at home, and you need to change the tap points when you get out. So, and you still got to tune the elevated radial, which probably won't be an issue if you connect it to a car though. But I don't think the buddy stick will be one of the antennas that I'll try. Perhaps if none of the other options work well, but I really don't think that. William says the Chameleon MPass vertical might help, and the MPass vertical is not a 17-foot whip with 5 to 1 on in the at the bottom. Is that correct? Don't know that antenna too well though. LB4FH had an Outbacker 2000 antenna. Never got that working properly. I actually don't know that antenna, but I'll Google it once I'm done with the presentation here, and we can take a look at that as well. But the chat actually shows that there are a lot of options going mobile, and I want something that's easy enough to make me bother with setting it up, but still effective enough that I'll get some QSOs while operating QRP. So I'll have to struggle a little bit to find that option. And if QRP shouldn't be good enough, I got an amp. I got an Hard Rock 50 watt QRP amp here. So that's one of my options, but I'd prefer on actually using QRP and keeping it as simple as possible. And if I should connect an amp, though, I have to I have to get some other power options, probably a battery stored in the back. And William says that the Chameleon MPass is a base-loaded vertical that can do 20 through 6, and with the add-on from 80 or 160 and up. It's very lightweight for soda and similar. So I'll look into that. But my initial goal is to use only the equipment that I have. The fourth option is the Highlander WL800mm. And this antenna was gifted to me from another ham in my club earlier this summer, and I haven't really tried it out. It is a loaded vertical, and you can see here it's got different tap points for the different bands. Um, I have a feeling that it'll be difficult to tune, so you'll meet the resonant point for every band. So you might need a tuner in addition for that. So that might be an option. Wall says it might not be popular, but 11 meters is actually a good thing to have in the car. I've been thinking about that too, getting a cheap CB radio. So I've been thinking about it. There are some really cheap CB radios to be found on eBay and similar. So I've been thinking about that as well. Don't really know how active CB is in Norway, though. I haven't really spent any time listening to it. William says that 11 meters is good as it gives a good idea on conditions on 10 and 12, and that's most certainly correct. And there is a lot more sideband chatter on 11 meters than there is on both 10 and 12. So it'll give you a good condition or a good indicator if conditions are good enough to do some sideband. And the Highlander is very similar to the Outbacker antenna. Yeah, so I haven't tried this. It's been sitting in my hallway all summer, and I've been thinking about trying it either on a ground mount or on the car. So I'll be doing that shortly. And there's apparently in my part of the country an active group of people on CB. So yeah, I might look into that. And there is a bonus option here. It's a dipole, end-fed half wave, or anything similar on a mast outside the vehicle. But that kind of defeats the simplicity option that I'm looking for. I want something that I don't really need anything more than the vehicle itself. But that is certainly an option. And if I will be taking the radio outside the car for a PODA, I could actually bring an antenna like this with me. And this is, of course, the infamous LB0 Fox India dipole kit. If you haven't seen that, check out my Etsy store. Don't know if it's linked below on this video, but it's linked below on several videos. And I'm thinking about linking to most of this equipment in the description after I'm done, though. So you'll get an idea what it is. So I'm thinking I'll be sharing this road ahead to mobile operations with you guys. And I got a couple of ideas here. First of all, get the 2-meter 70 centimeter antenna programmed. Let's see, there is a lot of activity in the chat here as well. Wall says that a lot of 11-meter antennas will work on 10 and 12. Yeah, that is a good option. William says that the Alinco DX10 does 11 and 10 meters and can be programmed for channel separation. So that is a good idea. And those are really good ideas. First of all, I want to just try to get this done with the equipment I have, and we'll take a look from there. Secondly, I'll be testing the Lexan on repeaters along the commute and hope someone will answer and see if I can get that to work properly. I do have some SWR issues with the antenna, or I have or I have a suspicion that it might be just the cable, though. That might be bad. So I'll have to look into that as well. Thirdly, I'll be building a Go kit that can stay in the car, consisting of the 817, probably a battery pack and some coax and wire antennas. And I got an old camera bag that I'll be repurposing for that. And then I'll be doing videos on the different antennas and see how they perform. And I've been thinking about doing this on pretty much the same spot for every antenna and as good as possible. trying out at the same time a day so I can get some similar results. And most of all, I'll be having fun on my commute. The good thing about driving for an hour each way every day is that I can I can listen to all the ham radio podcasts. I can finally finish both the ham radio workbench podcast and the ham radio crash course podcast. So that helps a lot. Uh, and there actually are some guys around here that do 80 meter from vehicles, and that should probably be a good idea though with a ham stick, but it'll be extremely narrow banded. So you kind of have to pick one frequency and stay with that. But those are the options I have at the moment. So, what do you guys think? Could this be a success for portable operations, or or do I need to go for something else? I actually don't know what I'm doing as usual, but that's why I started this channel as well. I try things out and I see if they work, and I think that's a good idea, and that's kind of the spirit of the hobby. And let's see if I can find the Highlander antenna. See what that is like. I'm gonna just check another tab here. Highlander. No, Highlander was my antenna, wasn't it? Let's see here what LB4FH said his antenna was. Just flip through the chat here. Outbacker. Okay, I'll check for the Outbacker antenna. Let's see, I got it here, so I'll just share the tab here. Just one moment. And see here. Just gotta figure out. Okay, let's see here. I got the Outback antenna here, and it looks similar though. Kind of looks a little bit more like a toy box antenna than the Highlander antenna. But the principle is basically the same though. And my guess is that both antennas are really high Q and really difficult to tune, as far as I can think. So that's kind of my thought on the antenna. But it'll be fun trying it out. And as William says, the best thing is to take your equipment and see what you can do with it. And that's a good tip. It is actually not important. Well, it is important, but not that important what kind of equipment you have. It is more important that you know the equipment and know the limitations of it and know how you can work around the limitations of your equipment. And that's a big help. And Walt says, you're going to experiment and try all these options. Yeah, I'm going to try all those options and probably all the options that will come up in the thought process along the way. LB4FH says it's a nightmare to get those antennas tuned. And I've been speaking about both Walt and LB4FH, their channels, their YouTube channels on my latest streams. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe to them. Shittle makes excellent summons on the air videos, and with quite a bit of a storytelling in those. So they're great. And congrats on the soda contact to Australia there, Shittle. And Walt, yeah, he's got his antenna experimentation videos, and most of all saltwater verticals and tape measure verticals. And he also Walt says that that antenna will put you on meds after using. It'll probably be like the body stick though. I've used it twice with a lot of success. I managed to tune that antenna twice, and the other times I've just switched it out with other antennas. So, and William says, as when teaching martial arts, do not try, just do it. If you fail, learn and adapt until it does work. And yeah, ham radio is pretty much the same way. And there are so many variables in the ham radio, no matter what you do, that if you know your equipment, you can actually work around the limitations. And the 817 is not the best radio in the world. It's got terrible filtering. It's only 5 watts, but it's built like a tank, and it just works. Not to mention the really tiny display and the horrible menu system. But I love the radio for the fact that it's small, it's compact, it can use an internal battery, and it's an all mode, all band radio from 160 to 70 centimeters, which is amazing for a package that small. And it is an old design. Doesn't have all the fancy waterfalls and DSP corrections and everything, but it works. It works every time. I've no I've never had any issues with it. So I love that. The only thing with that radio is I regret selling the G90 to get enough money to buy it. I really miss my G90, and I know a couple of you guys in the chat really miss or really love your G90s as well. So, there is a compromise there. The G90 is a great radio. It lacks it lacks 2 meter and 70 centimeters. William asks if I've ever tried to use a DSP build on your 817. Now I've seen those DSPs you can put in line on them between the headphone socket and the and an external speaker or headphones. I've seen those on eBay and AliExpress. Never tried them though. I've heard rumors that are pretty great. But the thing is, though, once you start adding on to the 817, you get to a point where you could rather buy ICOM. What's those small ICOMs? The QRP ICOMs. I'm kind of stuck here. You can buy one of those instead. And I saw that that you did your soda without a waterfall, and it is somewhat of a step backwards. You have to really think, and it's the IC705 that I was thinking about. You really have to think without a waterfall, and you have to listen around the frequency that you pick. Whereas on a waterfall, you can much more easily find a free frequency. So so that's a positive side on it. So I'm not sure though if yeah, I'm going to keep the 817, but the thing is though, will I get another QRP radio for portable? And that might be an option. But I can still use my ears. I don't need a waterfall. It is a really nice add-on. What really helps with the 817 is that it is so compact and can be powered from an internal battery compared to the G90. But then again, there is a noticeable difference between 5 and 20 watts. So yeah, I'll be making some videos on this, and I'll be posting them pretty regularly on my YouTube channel, and that'll be my focus in the coming weeks or perhaps months to get a good mobile setup. And the first thing I'm gonna do is to program the like Zen radio. And if you haven't seen that video, just check out my videos. It's the review of the radio is actually the first video I did, and that just keeps growing. Get about 20 views on it every day. And that was before I knew how to make any videos. I also got a video on how to mount it in your car. So Wall says that the G90 has a very easy mod to open 11 meters as well. I didn't know that, but if I ever get another G90, I'll look into it. She had asked if I got my Lexan from a Norwegian supplier. No, I did not. I ordered off of eBay, and I probably wouldn't have ordered it since there weren't anything on YouTube or the web in general about this radio. If it wasn't for LB0 Hotel India that purchased it a couple of months before me and said he was satisfied with it. But the programming aspect is kind of hard. I either got to take the radio. You need Windows to program it, so I either got to take the radio out of my vehicle, bring it in, and use it with my desktop computer, or I need to get a Windows laptop for it. So, but there's no shortage of that around the house. But all my laptops are Linux and kind of part of my portable Linux experiment. Um, so I'll look into that. I'll probably bring another laptop out in the car. And I guess removing a resistor. Guess that's the 11 meter mod for the G90. I'll look into that if I get another G90 or another radio. Might not be a G90 though. I kind of I'm kind of looking into the X6100 because it runs Linux, and there are some possibilities with custom ROMs there. So I'll look into that. Well says that it's removing one side of a diode, and Zagu put a white arrow on the board pointing to it. Yeah, that is an easy mod. William's got a Pi 4 running his setup, and if it wasn't for Pi's being pretty near impossible to get a hold of, I'd probably try that as well. I got a Pi 3 set up for my 2-meter sideband and Digimode operations, so I can use that alongside using my HF radio. So that works pretty well. So yeah, and that was pretty much what I had on my plan talking about today. Just presenting my plans for finding a solution for operating mobile in my scenario, and I hope you guys stay along for the journey. And I think next Sunday I'll do an update on my progress on it. So, and Amateur Radio on the Air also says that the Mars mod is removing a surface mount diode that has an arrow pointing to it. So I guess modding the G90 is easy. So just look forward to it. I'm gonna within the next day or two, I'm gonna try to program the Lexan and do some testing on that, and then I'll build my Go kit for the car and start experimenting with antennas. So hope to see you guys follow along that journey, and thank you to all of those guys all of you guys that helped me reach 500 subscribers. Only 500 more to go until I'm able to actually not lose as much money as I do at the moment by running this YouTube channel. And you can see the link down below there if you want to support the channel. Both that and my antennas, all proceedings from that go to keeping this channel afloat. So with no further ado, thank you for watching, and hope to see you later on. Please do comment, like, and subscribe. And until next time, 7-3.